It is your responsibility as caregivers for the animals in your care to know the very most you can about how the body works and the dynamic nature of healing, which means what makes animals sick and what makes animals well. You are not, and your cat and dog are not, amazingly healthy and then get a diagnosis of cancer. It doesn't happen that way. Health is on a spectrum, and your pets and you are moving one way or another. It may be silent and you may not notice, but you don't wake up one morning with cancer. Your cat doesn't wake up one morning with cardiovascular disease. A series of steps have been set in motion that allow first physiological changes to occur, and then metabolic changes to occur, and then tissue structural changes to occur. But you don't wake up one morning with fibrosis of your liver, and you don't wake up one morning with your pet recognizing that, goodness sakes, my dog had a diagnosis of hemangiosarcoma and her spleen ruptured in the middle of the night. That just happened yesterday. It feels like it happened yesterday, but the process of disease happens over a period of time. If you and your doctors are on the same page, then you can move forward with this proactive opinion. If your doctors are not on the same page, it's okay. But what that means is that you have to align yourself with people that you can learn from, and you may end up feeling like you're helping your vets evolve, which is okay too. But what you'll realize is that you are ultimately in charge of the animals in your home. It's not your vet's responsibility. It's not the breeder's responsibility. It's not the darn Humane Society that adopted a sick dog to you. Gosh darn them. It's no one's responsibility but your own. So I hope you leave here recognizing that. How to manage some of these scenarios. We're not all born with genetically perfect pets. We have animals that get hit by cars. Stress happens. Trauma happens. This is a part of life. How to manage those specific scenarios we actually have on other DVDs. We're not going to discuss that today, but recognize it that if you feel together, one of the main goals of today is for me to help you understand the difference between acute medical emergencies, which means they have to go right now, an urgent care situation. Urgent care meaning you need to address the situation, but it is not an emergency. You do not have to go right now. And what I will tell you is I've got several very good friends that just do emergency medicine. And when we are sitting around on our off time talking, their statement is about 60% of the cases coming in to emergency clinics are not emergencies at all. It's panicked owners that can't bear to watch the situation for another 10 hours, like a sniffle or a cough, or you're watching a boil develop on your dog's back and you're measuring it, and you know at midnight it's 1.5 centimeters, and then at 2:30 in the morning it's 3.5 centimeters, and developing a really red swollen top, and there's a red ring of inflammation on, and you cannot deal with it, and you have to pack your dog up and go. That's not a medical emergency, and yet many owners cannot handle that that's forming, and they have to get an answer right now. The things that start going through your head is, what if this ruptures? What if it's the big C? What if it's cancer? What if there's something in there, and what if it's going to spread instantly through my pet's body and take over and cause a simultaneous death by 6:30 in the morning? What if my veterinarian's off the next day and I'm measuring the growth of this abscess and it's getting bigger and getting bigger? And what if all of a sudden the dog realizes, I got something stuck on me. I got something on me. Oh my gosh, I got something on me. And they start licking, chewing, licking, chewing, licking, chewing. Now you're obsessing and the dog's obsessing. Everyone in the house is obsessing. Once the dog starts obsessing, then you go from trying to hold it together to completely unraveling, because now you realize your dog's uncomfortable. So what do? You start chucking cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. They say dogs smell fear. Dogs don't smell fear. Dogs smell your cortisol oozing through your pores. So pretty soon, dogs are like, Mom's really nervous. Why is Mom nervous? And pretty soon, so you see this self-defeating cycle of Mom's nervous. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Oh boy, this thing's bugging me. Oh my gosh, she's still digging. Oh, it's really bugging me. Why is Mom nervous? Oh no, you understand what's going on? It's this psychotic circle of self-defeat that drives people to get in their car and drive to the emergency clinic. And if you've not all done that, I'll tell you that it's very tempting. Those of you that have witnessed that, taken a deep breath and said, my dog is not dying right now. My dog does not have excruciating pain. My dog's annoyed with the boil, but does not have excruciating pain. And my dog can make it another 12 hours till I can call my regular vet and say, there's a big old red thing on my dog's back. What do I do? Those of you that have had that self-control, congratulations. Statistically, 60% of you do not, because you see it and you got to go. It's not that that's bad. And for many of you today, one of the things that I want you to walk away from is not, oh, shame on me, I feel silly that I went there for that. Don't ever feel that way. My statement to you is, if you are going to have more peace with yourself going at 2:30 in the morning for a boil on your dog's back, go. The veterinarian's there, they're getting paid to sleep, whether you're there or not, they're just hanging out, they're waiting for you. What I will tell you is, if you call any veterinary clinic and say anything, my dog has a, they're going to say, bring it in. Almost always. Or I was wondering if my dog's, yep, that's a problem, you should come in. And part of that's liability. You understand that legally, none of us can give veterinary advice out over the phone to a patient we haven't met. We can't say, oh, it's not going to be a big issue. We can't say that. So they have to cover themselves. They can't say, oh, it's going to be fine, wait till tomorrow, because you could swing back around and say it wasn't fine and you have a lovely lawsuit on your hands. So their end response is, yes, you should have it examined. Well, then when you call to say, I'm noticing this red thing, you're trying to sound calm, you've taken some deep breaths, you've grounded yourself out, you make the call. Yes, hello. My dog has a large swelling on its back. Yes, you should bring it in right now. Okay, I'll be right there. And so you're driving there, near accident, heart rate's doubling, blood pressure's increasing, and you go there and you get your $150 exam fee, and they say, yes, it's a boil, they lance it, flush it out, prescribe antibiotics, treat it. You go home, everything's fine. You're going to probably end up calling your regular vet or calling me and saying, hey, my dog had an abscess, they prescribed Clavamox, what do you recommend anyway? So now you're being charged for 2 opinions, 2 rounds of medication, and that is so not a problem. Unless you are like the majority of people in that you're trying to watch cash flow, you're trying to be responsible, you're trying to not overreact, you're trying to do things with some common sense. And it's not that panicking and taking your dog in for a boil is ever bad, but today we're trying to help you. If you want to begin to recognize, is it really worthy of a visit or is it not? That's what today's lecture is about. Don't ever feel guilty. And one of the things you're going to hear over and over and over today from me is, if your dog has pain, intense, and I do want you to recognize that fear is probably the most underlying emotion that all of us have as a primal, innate emotion when we approach death ourselves or the death of anything we love passionately. It's fear. Fear of the unknown. How's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Is it going to be peaceful? What if it isn't peaceful? And we can get in this stew pot of all the what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, and we strip away the joy of right now. Those of you that have geriatrics right now, they are where they are. Blind, deaf, limping, crippled, painful, organ failure, heart failure. They have a tumor, they had an amputation. They are where they're at. They're not at home thinking, oh my gosh, I have a chemo appointment at U of I on Tuesday. Oh, I'm so dreading, I know I'm going to be nauseous, I just can't deal with this, I can't believe this. They're not in a stew pot. So if there ever was an amazing role model for you to look to, Lord knows it is not me. It is your pet. Okay? Go home and look at how your dog or cat is approaching life and implement that. You have all been blessed with these amazing role models right in your house. Go home and look at them. Because there is no better role model for you to follow. They will help you be better people, they'll help you live a better life, and they will help you die better when your time is up. Because you're going to look back and say, all dogs live and die with utmost dignity. They're not self-centered. They're not in a state of panic. They're peaceful. They're calm. They're grounded out. They don't have a spirit of fear. Oh my gosh, today's the day, I can't believe it, today's the day. None of that. They're cool coming and they're cool going. So look at the role models you've been blessed with and act like them. Okay, today we're going to talk about how the body ages. We're going to talk about how the mind ages, and sometimes the mind and the body don't age at the same time. That happens often. We're going to cover pain management because that's a huge part of relief and comfort. Relief and comfort is pain management. We're going to talk about how, excuse me, most dogs and cats, not all, but most dogs and cats die one of two ways. They either do a slow fade, where their bodies don't have any major, cancer wasn't diagnosed, they don't have a major issue, they just begin to fade away, they just get old. Or you have crisis. You have cancer, someone left the gate open, the dog was hit by a car, the dog ran away, the dog's spleen ruptured and died, and my dog went into shock and died on my living room floor. There's either crisis or there is slow fade. Now, sometimes there's both. Sometimes there's slow fade that leads to crisis, and that's common with old dogs, common with old people too. So we're going to cover both of those scenarios, and we're going to cover how to help pets die and how to help you deal with that.